Okay, so for step two, we're going to be cruising right along. Step one, we created named your session. Step two, oh, sorry. Step one, we also found all your instruments. For step two, we're going to actually start recording and programming your arrangement on the other screen. And so let's get to that. This one could potentially take a bit of time, depending on how picky you are, I guess. But the cool thing about ambient music is that it's by nature really abstract, and so you don't need to worry about if you have awesome musical skills. You really have to just be patient and hold back, I think is the name of the game here. To get to the recording screen, this is what I call like the session screen or the mix screen. And this is where you usually load your instruments and do some mixing, obviously. So we'll come back to this screen. But to get to your other screen, you push the Tab button. So go ahead and push Tab. The other way to switch between these screens is upper here in the upper left-hand corner. If I click on these vertical lines here, that'll take me to my mix screen, and if I click on the horizontal lines, that'll take me to my edit screen or recording screen. And otherwise, you can just use the Tab button is usually what I use because that'll switch you back and forth between those two. Okay. So you'll notice that the edit screen is horizontally oriented, whereas this screen was like vertically oriented. Like here's my grand piano, here's my electric piano, here's my strings, and when I push Tab, they get flipped on their side, right? So if you follow them across this way, you can see my electric piano still has that red light turned on. So if I play, it's going to be triggering that track, right? So you can only record one track at a time. So choose, whatever instrument you want to start with. I think I'm going to start with these strings. I think they'll create a good, nice starting place, right? And again, still you are recording with your keyboard, just right on your computers. Nothing too fancy here. And I really like the abstract nature of using your computer as an instrument too for ambient music. It's kind of cool. A couple new things. If you want to switch down to like some lower pitches, like let's say you want like some really low pitches going on, the Z button will make your pitches go lower. So that's where I'm at right now if I push the letter D on my keyboard. But if I push Z now, then now I push D, it's lower. If I push Z again, it gets even lower. Z again, really low, right? And you can just keep going lower and lower and lower until it like really stops making sound because it's so low. If you want to take a sound and go higher, then right next to the Z button is X, and X takes it higher. So if I push, again, here I am really low right now, right? If I push X a few times, right, it'll go higher and higher. So I want to start actually with this nice low kind of rumbling. I think that'll make a cool effect. So I push Z a couple times to get down to that low range. And then when you're ready to record, just right up here in the center of your screen is a circle button, and that will start the recording process right away. And don't panic when you record, because I'm going to show you how you can edit and change whatever you just recorded. So it's real easy to go back and change things and make adjustments, but you have to start out by recording something. So I'm going to just record a little bit to kind of show you how that goes. I'll hit the circle button here. Now remember, with ambient music, you really want to be minimalistic and not a lot of changes, right? So it's okay to just push one note and hold it out for a while, right? You can see as soon as I change notes, that you'll start to see like the image of what notes I'm playing kind of be represented on the screen there. Alright, now on the bottom here is our time code. And so this will let you know kind of where you're at time-wise in your piece. So you can see right now I just crossed the 40-second. I'm getting close to 50 seconds. And so really quickly in ambient music, you're going to come up on a 1 minute mark. I mean, you can see I only played 4 different notes here, but that's okay. I'm going to go back to this low note. And that'll be what ends my whole song. And that's fine for ambient music. A lot of times ambient music is very, very minimal, like I say, so you don't need a whole bunch of notes. When you're done recording, hit the square button, that'll stop. Or you can push spacebar, also toggles between stop and play, right? So if I wanted to play back what I just had, if I push spacebar, you can see now it's going to play that back for me. And if I push spacebar again, it will stop. So you can just use the spacebar to do stop and play, but to record you actually have to hit the record button. Okay, so I got something. Let's record just another little quick thing just to kind of show you that. Let's say I want to record some of this piano, so I'll switch to this piano, turn that button on. But let's say I want to put it right here. I don't need to like do anything over here. So you can actually start the recording wherever you want to start it. So I usually will start it a little bit before I actually want to start playing, just so I have time to get my bearings straight after I hit record. So let's hit record. In this part, I'm gonna okay, just a little bit of movement in there, some higher pitches. All right, so that's enough for right now that I can show you a few things. So let's say you do some recording and you want to make some changes. Like let's say I don't like this empty space right here in the beginning. I want to have this note like start right off the bat when I play. So it's actually real easy to move that around. So if you want to edit something that you played, if you just double click on the top little ribbon area right up here, that colored ribbon, then your notes will appear down here. And this is where you can edit things. So let me show you just a couple things you can do. You can click on any note and it's selected with the arrow, and then you can move that note, so play it earlier or later. You can see it's also getting moved on the screen here. You can go to the edge of a note and you can see how it turns into a little bracket. You can make the note shorter if you wanted, or you can make it longer if you wanted. Okay. Also, you can change what note you played. So like let's say you played a note and you're like, oh, that was a bad note, I meant to play that note. You can just move it. So that's kind of a cool thing about MIDI, and the dangerous thing about MIDI is that you can infinitely change it as much as you want. You can even add a note that you never played in the first place. So like let's say on this section right here I actually wanted to play 3 notes at the same time. I'm going to scroll up here and just add a note. I'll just double click on the spot where I want to add a note, and then I'll drag it out, right? And then you can zoom in, and the more you zoom in, the more fine your lines are. And by the way, how you zoom in is just pinch on your trackpad, just like you would zoom in on a web page or whatever, just like that. And so you can completely alter anything that you previously played. And like I say, that's kind of a dangerous thing to do, because you can just sit there and like till the end of time, like complete changing things around. And so I generally recommend maybe do a little bit of that, but don't get lost in the infinite editing capabilities, because like I say, you can spend all day doing that stuff. So kind of keep it cool and random, right? Another cool thing that you could do, let's say like this little cool piano thing I wanted to do, maybe I wanted it to happen later on in the song too, just like that. You can click on it, select it so it's blue, and then push Command C, just like you're going to copy it in a word processing document. Pick where you want to paste it, and then push Command V. And now I've got 2 of them, right? So MIDI's awesome because you can just keep editing and keep tweaking and just make your song this way, right? And that is recording. So that'll end up this video. I think I'm just going to do one more video to show you kind of the effects, and then wrapping up after this.